demonstration is to show how to desensitize your dog to a head collar. So the one I'm using in particular today, this is a gentle leader. So it has the loop that goes over the dog's nose and then clips around behind the head. And most head halters are fairly similar in that there is going to be an apparatus around the nose, and that's what the dogs need to learn to feel comfortable with. So what you don't want to do is throw a head halter on your dog and start using it. What they'll end up doing is pawing it, fighting against it, rubbing on the ground with their face, because they don't understand. They've never had anything on their head before. So if you think of a horse, there's usually a halter breaking process, a desensitization process, that even horses have to go through to be able to accept the halter on their head. So it's no different for our dog. So for this process, I highly recommend that you use a clicker. This one in particular is the iClick, and I'm using the iClick for this exercise as opposed to a box clicker because it's very close to the dog's ears and it has a softer sound than the box clicker. And the clicker is going to indicate every time I like what the dog is doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is just offer this and let the dog acknowledge it and touch it. Excellent. So what I want to see is that the dog is coming forward to touch the head halter. So you can see that she's leaning towards it. I'm not pushing it into her, and that's really important. We want this to be the dog's choice, not something that we're forcing onto the dog. So the next thing I'm going to do is open up the loop. Excellent, and now she's coming forward just towards the loop itself. And the next thing I'm going to do is wait for her to put her head through the loop. So I'm going to open it up nice like this. She reached forward just slightly, and I'm rushing this process a little bit, otherwise I could have this go a little bit longer. I probably would have had her come forward and just simply touch the gentle leader numerous times, maybe 12 times in a row, and that simply could have been my training session for the day. And then I go to the next step, and then I go to this step, and that way it's really clear to the dog what it is we're looking for, and that is their volunteer motion to come forward into the head halter. So now we've got the loop open. Excellent. She's leaning forward just slightly. Excellent. Very good effort. And I have the treats easily accessible right here. So I'm not fishing for them somewhere, or they're not in a jar. They're just, very easy to reward the dog. Excellent. What I don't want to be doing is shoving it onto my dog's face. I really want this to be the dog's idea. And that way it makes it more fun for the dog, and they don't feel like it's something we're forcing onto them. Okay, now that she's comfortable with that, I'm going to let the head halter I'm going to let go of it. So she puts her head into it, I let go, it's just hanging off her nose, I click, and I treat. So again, she comes forward, I just let it go, give it a second, click, and treat. Excellent. Very nice, very, very nice. And this is the progress that you need to make with your own dogs. Now the next step is going to be, I'm just simply going to take the back part of it without using the nose part, and I'm just going to click this behind her head so she gets used to the pressure of what's behind her. Excellent. And then I'm going to take it off. Good girl. And then I'm going to do this part again. Click it on, a little bit of pressure, click, and treat. And remember, these can be separate training sessions. I'm just doing this all together for demonstration purposes. Okay, now I'm going to take it off, and now what I'm going to do is put the two of these together. So I'm going to offer the loop. Good girl. Just going to praise her. I'm going to click it on behind her head like this. Good girl. And then I'm going to click and treat. And then I might just use a little tiny bit of pressure, click, and treat. Good girl. Okay, sit. Then the next thing, after I've got her used to just a little bit of me moving this back and forth and rewarding that, then I'm going to clip on the leash onto the head halter itself, and I'm going to click and reward that. And then I just might do a couple of little exercises. I've got some treats here. I just might bring her up, bring her around. I'm really not putting any pressure on this at all. She's never worn one of these before. So this is, if you take it slow, this is the kind of response that you can get. And I'm giving her multi-treats just for not pawing it and not trying to get it off. Good girl. And as I said, she has never worn a gentle leader before, so you're seeing this first time. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of bring her around very gently. Again, there's really no pressure that I'm using. There's a little bit of, good girl. Just a little bit of not understanding. I'm going to give her lots of rewards just for accepting this on her head right now and walking with it. Good girl. Very good. Very, very gentle. Very good. Good girl. Now if you take this and do it in all the steps and separate training sessions, you're less apt to get any uncomfortableness from it. So remember, I'm kind of rushing Pounce through this process. Good girl. Very nice. Very nice. Good. And now she's becoming even more accepting of it. Very small little bits that you want to take with it. And that is definitely enough. I'm going to take it off. Tell her she was wonderful. Wow, what a good girl. Now, I don't want it to become something that she's fighting against. So take it slow. Break your training sessions up. You can do multi-sessions in one day. Just keep them short and build it up slowly. And then when you do start to do the walking on the leash, take your dog outdoors because there's more for them to look at out there. There's more environment for them, and that way they're less apt to think less about what's on their face and more about what's out there. So when you are leash walking your dog on the head halter, start it outdoors, a little bit inside like I showed you here, but then go outside.